Tonight, on a very special Father's Day edition of the Livestream, President Trump sits down with Don and tells him all he wants for Father's Day is a good son. Aww. Maybe next year, Mr. President. Let's dive in to the Livestream. Welcome, everybody. I am your Heavenly Father. It is a beautiful, sunny 6 o'clock here in Seattle. Wherever you are, I hope things are well. Let's get going with the presidential interview by Don Jr. to his father, who may or may not remember his name. We'll have to see as the interview goes on here. It's a softball game, but, you know, it's Father's Day, so why not? As soon as I see somebody get into the chat here, I will know that we are live, and we will get going right away. So, if you'd like to support this broadcast and things like that intro that you just saw, of which I'm so proud, much prouder than my son, then you certainly may. Go to kevinlyfather.com, become a patron there. And if you become a patron, then, hey, you can get your name in the credits at the end. And you also help me do stuff like this, because you're not going to sit around trying to figure out where Donald Jr. is interviewing Donald Sr. on the YouTube and have to sit through that chat room on YouTube. Speaking of chat room, looks like somebody's in here. Hold on. Who's there? Hello? Anybody? No? No? There we go. There's Marcy. We are good to go. Marcy, one of our patrons. That's how this happens to everybody who doesn't chat and just likes to watch. I love you guys too. Here we go. Marcy, good to see you. Let's get going here with the interview. It's Donald Trump Jr. and Donald Trump Sr.
Okay. So, I've been doing the Triggered podcast now for a few weeks, and I figured with Father's Day coming up, we have a great opportunity to sit with the most powerful father in the world. So I have some interesting questions for you. Now, we've had some good fun in the podcast because it gets a little political, obviously, but we want to show a little bit of humor. So I have a couple questions that I think are on all of the minds of our viewers. So the first one, which is the big one also on my mind, is...
I have a question.
Which is your favorite Trump child, and why is it Ivanka?
A wise guy over here.
Is a wise guy.
All the same, 100%.
My question is,
100%?
Republicans have a sense of humor?
And I'll even say you only for purposes of this interview.
Nice.
But other than
What
that,
a great dad.
All the same.
Okay, well, I'm going to remember that, okay? So
Hey, Stephanie. Hey, David.
we got to talk Twitter. Because I have had
We do have to
couple
talk
calls
Twitter.
from you from the White House
Uh-huh.
saying, you know, Don, maybe you're getting a little hot on social media.
That's true.
Do you understand irony?
Speaking of hot, I want to go back and show you guys
A little
something.
bit.
Did you guys
I've been
notice this? Watch this. Production value's not bad. This is a graphic package, by the way. But anyway. Watch. Did you notice there? There's no fire. Look at the fireplace. Hey, Beth. No fire in the fireplace. Wait for it. Hey, producer Joanna.
Okay. So, I've been doing
No
Triggered
fire.
podcast now for a few weeks, and I figured...
They superimpose a fire throughout the interview in the fireplace. It's literally a fake fireplace. Why? Why bother? I don't know. They couldn't start the fire. It was so...
Father's Day coming up.
Everything about this president doesn't even have to be a fire in the fireplace. It's the middle of... I don't know, what month is it, guys? The point is, why? But you'll come back later, and every time they do it, the fireplace CGI that they're using is in slow motion, so it just looks weird. And they don't flash to it much, but every time they do, it's like, wait, what is happening?
We have a great opportunity to sit with the
Hey,
most
human.
powerful father in the world. So I have some interesting questions for you. Now, we've had some good fun in the podcast because it gets a little political, obviously, but we want to show a little bit of humor. So I have a couple questions that I think are all
Spoiler alert, they cut out all the good questions.
on all of the minds of our viewers. So the first one, which is the big one also on my mind, is which is your favorite Trump child, and why is it Ivanka?
It's Melanie's son.
A wise guy over here. All the same, 100%.
100%?
100%. And I'll
That's
even say
honestly,
you
that may be the best answer Donald's ever given.
only for purposes of this interview. But other than that, all the same.
Okay, well, I'm going to remember that, okay? So that's... Yeah, we got to talk Twitter.
This is so uncomfortable. I've never felt sorry for Don Jr. before, but look at this reaction
Only for
here.
purposes of this interview. But other than that, all the same.
Okay, well, I'm going to remember that, okay? So that's...
They edit out his crying. I'm going to remember that, Dad, because, I mean... I'm in the goddamn room, Dad. I mean, if you could just... throw me a boner, Dad.
Okay, we got to talk Twitter. Because I have had a couple calls from you from the White House saying, you know, Don, maybe you're getting a little hot on social media.
That's true.
Do you understand irony and how that works?
I do.
Because I don't, Dad. I don't. And also, this sarcasm thing you do. So sarcasm means when you're unbelievably cruel to someone, right? Or you say something incredibly stupid on purpose. That's sarcasm, right?
And I think that you're getting a little hot on Twitter sometimes. You know, it's really, I don't call it Twitter, I call it social media. Mm-hmm. And it's a way of getting out to the world. And you get out to the world, too, on my behalf and on the country's behalf, because you want to see good things happen.
Thanks, Random.
And sometimes you'll say things that you probably regret. How often does that happen to you?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting question. There are probably times I regret it, but I've sort of learned, and I think we've probably seen in the...
I'm trying to adjust the interview volume. This is recorded from my... Anyway, the bottom line is I'm doing some stuff here. If the interview volume isn't high enough, let me know. I can turn myself down, and you can turn me up, or you can turn me on, by going to kevinleefather.com, becoming a patron. Anyway, I've done what I can here in terms of the interview volume. Here's something. They only have one mic. It's either a shotgun mic that they're pointing at Dad, or they don't let Junior have a mic, or his mic doesn't work. I mean, the fireplace doesn't even work. So you can hear a lot of echo on Don's voice. That's because, in fact, I'm not even seeing a microphone. Get out of the way, Kevin. There's no microphone anywhere around here that I can see. So I don't think they have a microphone for Don Jr.
Last week, sometimes sort of taking it back rather than just owning it is actually worse. Sort of the apology for something that doesn't necessarily need an apology. Maybe it's a hot take, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. I mean, I think the one we saw last week was Drew Brees. What do you think about him sort of cowering to the mob and that whole controversy?
So I watched his first statement, which was a beautiful statement.
Wow, he's slurring more every single interview.
Proud of the flag, proud of the country, proud of everything. Talk about his father and his grandfather serving. And then the following day, it was almost like, I take it back. I was shocked because I consider him a great football player, but I consider him a champion and a star. And I didn't understand what was going on, and he took it back, and I've never seen anything like it. And I think he hurt himself very badly. And I was going to put out that he'll regret that in the future years, because you stand for the flag. You have to stand for the flag and the anthem. Our national anthem, you have to stand. And I think the NFL is going to have a lot of problems if they don't. And I think the same thing with U.S. soccer. They said they're not going to have to stand. Well, if they don't stand, nobody's going to want to watch it.
People watch soccer?
And I think they'll have a lot of problems. But I think the NFL that'll be a tremendous I was very surprised. I like Roger Goodell. I was very shocked that he made that statement. It didn't even look like there was any pressure on him. He made it out of nowhere in summertime. What's he doing? Why is he doing that? So I was disappointed with Roger Goodell. I was very disappointed with Drew Brees because he was a warrior, and he just caved under the pressure. You know, a lot of warriors, they cave under PR pressure.
So this is what Roger Goodell said on Twitter. He said, "We, the NFL, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people. We, the NFL, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest. We, the NFL, believe Black Lives Matter." I'm not sure where the problem is there, but Trump is not happy with that.
Pressure. Yeah. Because his manager said, oh, this isn't right, and his teammates said this isn't right, and everybody said, and all of a sudden he's out there disclaiming about the flag and the country. And I don't believe he believes his second statement as much.
It's interesting.
By the way, he may believe it, But what he should be doing is not talking about the second. He should have stuck with his first.
Well, what was interesting is he actually put that disclaimer language the first time.
He loves to tell people what they believe and what they don't believe and what they want, even if they don't know. I wonder what I want. I want pizza. Pretty sure it's pizza.
He actually said, listen, I understand America's not perfect, but I respect it and my grandparents fought for it.
He should have fought through it.
So about 3 weeks ago, I found this sort of ironic. Documents that were...
So we're going to find out what Don Jr. thinks irony is.
Taken in the Osama bin Laden raid, in the raid that killed Osama bin Laden with our friend Rob O'Neill.
Yeah.
They finally declassified them. And in there were paperwork from Osama bin Laden saying that he...
They were declassified in 2012, not the other week.
Wanted to assassinate President Obama because it would put Joe Biden...
Let me go back.
They finally
This is interesting.
declassified them. And in there were paperwork from Osama bin Laden saying that he wanted to assassinate President Obama because it would put Joe Biden in charge, and essentially he's so grossly incompetent it would lead to the destruction of America. What does it say to you that basically the Democrat nominee for President of the United States got the posthumous Osama bin Laden endorsement, that this guy is the guy that they...
It wasn't posthumous. He endorsed him before he died. You can't endorse somebody after they did. But I guess, I mean, here's the thing. Not irony, not ironic at all. Ironically would have been for Osama to endorse Obama. See? Anyway, that actually happened. This is bin Laden in the Washington Post in 2012. David Ignatius writing about it. And he said, let's see, something about... in here, he said he wanted to assassinate Obama, said he wanted to assassinate a lot of people. It's probably right at the top, actually. It's probably the whole article. Wanted to assassinate Petraeus, who turned out to betray us. Who knew? Let's see. Is that Obama is the head of infidelity, and killing him automatically will make Biden take over the presidency. Biden is totally unprepared for the post, which will lead the U.S. into a crisis. Didn't say that Biden was incompetent, but I'm going to say that Jr. is 28% right on that one, but 100% wrong on it being irony.
Put forth.
It says to me, I didn't know that, and it says to me,
Yes, I'm ascending right now. If I lean forward into the camera, I have sun creeping in the window over there. Not Kevin sun, actual sun, and it's really screwing up the lighting. This is definitely not the golden hour.
I'm going to immediately make a commercial out of that, if that's true. Is that true?
It's true. I saw this.
Does everybody know what they want? David wants tacos. Anybody else? I'm heading out right after this.
I was watching. I had Rob O'Neill on this very podcast because he's the guy.
By the way, say no more. It's a great commercial.
Well, you're welcome.
Because it happens to be true. Okay? We speak the truth.
Well, then that's your Father's Day present. Congratulations.
Oh, now we get to see the commercial.
Under President Trump, America has become safer and stronger, with endorsements from countless veterans and first responders. Joe Biden received endorsement by Osama bin Laden after our brave warriors took him out, which Joe Biden was against doing.
What the reporting...
No, he endorsed Biden by saying he wanted to kill Osama before he was taken out.
was accurate
It comes from the same people who think that dead people vote, so it makes total sense.
when I said I didn't say go, and I didn't.
Bin Laden wrote his plan to attack Obama to make Joe Biden president, thinking that would be enough of a U.S. disaster in and of itself, expressing Biden is totally unprepared for that post, which will lead the U.S. into crisis. Joe Biden, China's candidate, Iran's candidate, and Osama's candidate. We need a president who terrorists and tyrants fear.
I'm fighting for you, and I love doing it with everything that I have. And you know
Why are you
that.
shouting at me, though?
I'm Donald Trump,
Wait.
and I approve this message.
Did it say not endorse?
I'm fighting for you, and I love doing it with everything that I have. And you know that.
What was that? Just not endorse. They're saving money by having these made overseas.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Not endorse. Oh, back to triggered.
That was a good present.
I gotta find that graphic.
So, we've all been depicted on Saturday Night Live. you, me, Eric. Which one do you think is the most accurate depiction, and which one do you think is the least accurate depiction?
It's Eric.
So as you know, I hosted Saturday Night Live.
It was amazing, by the way.
And
If you haven't watched that, you must go check it out.
And was the topic for many years before I ever did the political thing. Many years it was a topic on Saturday Night Live. But I really don't watch it anymore. I don't find it funny. Rarely do I find it funny, but I don't find it funny. I find it very mean-spirited. I find it a DNC affiliate, the DNC, right?
He was trying to do something with that. Like he's so used to saying MSDNC, that's DNC, like Democrat, because he sometimes says Democratic and then corrects himself to get the dig in there. And then he'll explain, Democratic is so beautiful, but Democrat is, it's not. But he tries to do something with this here and just falls flat.
I find it funny. I find it very mean-spirited. I find it a DNC affiliate, the DNC, right? And
I get it.
I think it's. I just don't think it's a good show. I really don't. I don't see a lot of talent. I think that the person that portrays me is terribly untalented.
He's no
They
Daryl
used to
Hammond.
have
Daryl
Alec
Hammond was
Baldwin.
good.
Daryl Hammond was great. They used to have Daryl Hammond, and he was great.
Do that thing. Go ahead.
You're fired. And they had others too, but
Hammond
Daryl
was
Hammond
great.
But
Informal poll here. I love Alec Baldwin. Don't get me wrong. Give me a 30 Rock any day. But Hammond was fantastic as Trump. So, guys, Hammond or Baldwin? Guys who aren't in the chat room but are still watching, jump into the chat. Let me know. Just put up there.
it's not a good depiction, in my opinion. But there's nothing funny. It used to be a funny kind of a thing, and it's just there's just nothing going. They do it on PR. They do it on
Mari might be
something.
right.
Maybe they do it on the fact that it's been there a long time. At one point, it was going to be taken off. I think if I didn't win or if I didn't run, I don't think it would be on the air anymore. And I don't say that in a braggadocious.
If he didn't win, SNL would be off the air. You know, SNL. Get it?
way. I don't think it would be on the air anymore. Go ahead.
Oh,
If you don't
Baldwin
run
is
for a
winning
third
this.
term,
Call for
He's doing a good
Baldwin.
interview.
when you're done in
Producer
5
Rick
years,
for Baldwin.
what do you want to do afterwards? What do you do after this?
I think what I'll do is just sit back, relax, and enjoy watching a great country. And hopefully we'll have somebody in that's going to keep it great. But this country is going to do so well.
No, I meant after you're president, not tomorrow.
We did it once, and we're going to do it again, and we're doing it in very good style. We're doing it at a level that nobody thought possible. The job numbers came out last week, and they were through the roof.
Had to double check those numbers because that was absolutely not what we were expecting just now, and the markets are reacting.
I expected it.
It's a remarkable morning for the economy and for markets as the jobs number, of course, comes in much better than expected, a gain of 2.5 million, a gain of 2.5 million.
The fact is that we're back.
It's going to continue, and hopefully we're going to have a tremendous victory. We're going to have a safe country. We're going to have a country based on lots of good things, fairness, equality, and also law and order. And we're doing...
Have we not had a country that kind of tried to do that stuff up until now?
really very well. I hope you sit back and you're going to be proud of what's happened because you really helped me a lot.
Well, Baldwin's running away with this thing. Looks like people prefer Baldwin as Trump. Okay.
A lot. And I say that.
I'll let you in on a story. It's not a secret. I saw an article about Hammond. I kind of feel bad about the way things went down for Daryl Hammond. I'd love to see him back on the show. Daryl, if you're out there watching, dude, don't you have anything else to do?
Truthfully, the family's been great. Kimberly's been great. I've had so much support from from the family, but we're going to
turn this country around right now.
Success.
Everybody out.
We had the greatest numbers we've ever had.
No.
African American employment. If you look at,
which was twice white employment. See, that's the whole point of keeping those stats. Not to see how good you can make those stats, but you're trying to get them even with the best stats.
That employment and unemployment. But if you look at Asian, if you look at Hispanic, if you look at women, if you look at any group, young people without a diploma.
If you look at any group, Americans, No, not record unemployment. Or sorry, not record employment.
People with diplomas, everything, every single group.
Actually, both.
They were doing better than they've ever done. And then one day, the Chinese plague came over, and I had to close the country. And we saved millions of lives by doing that. Don't let anyone ever tell you different.
This is over.
Millions of lives. Potentially, I don't even want to tell you what the numbers that I've heard, but at a minimum, it would be
2 million.
1 million to 1.5 million.
Are you going to tell us numbers anyway?
As opposed to 150, 175 when it dies out. And it
this is interesting. His top numbers used to be 70, and then it became 80, 65 to 80. Then it was maybe 100. Then it was 115. We're past that now. So now he's at 175, 100. What do you say, 175, 180?
It would be 1 million to 1.5 million, as opposed to 150, 175.
You can see him moving the goalposts.
And it is dying out.
And you can see my hands are on fire.
But I think that we will do it very rapidly a second time, much more rapidly. One of the reasons...
What was that movie where she would, like, make fire with her hands? Was it Firestarter? That's me. Wait, I got to get both. Never mind.
That we're doing so well is we built a tremendous base. We had a great foundation. So when we said, let's go, open, and we're having a lot of resistance from Democrats that are keeping their states closed. They're keeping their states closed. They let Seattle be taken over. Think of it. Seattle, a great city, a big chunk of Seattle taken over, and the news doesn't want to write about it.
Hold on, I have that big chunk somewhere.
Well, you certainly see very little about it in the lamestream media. So I will tell you that we are going to have a country that's going to be back so fast, and it's already happened.
Well, I've always said that. If Joe Biden had the answers to...
Thanks to @random for sending this in. This is Chaz in Seattle. Just to put things into perspective. Here you go. You can actually see the people on here if I do a close-up. No, maybe not. Where'd it go? Hello. All right, never mind. Let's go back to the main feed. Doesn't work. Yeah, this is Chaz. This is Seattle. That's Chaz. So Trump is saying they took over Seattle. And most of you in here have already seen what I think about Chaz. It's a fun place. And I am now Max Headroom.
These problems, why didn't he do it in the first 50 years of his career?
Well, he had a long time to do a lot of things, and he didn't, and he's certainly not in condition to do it now.
3 blocks.
He is not equipped to do it. He's not equipped. I don't want to go further than that. When you say, give me a definition of equipped, I'm not going to give you that definition, but I think everybody else knows what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about very well. He's in no condition to do it, and everybody knows it, and he's China's dream.
Yeah.
What you told me about Osama bin Laden, I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Because that's an incredible statement. But that's true with China. That's true with everybody. Iran. That's true with North Korea. Look what I've done. North Korea, we would be in a war. We would have been in a war if Hillary got in.
Yeah.
And now we're talking.
Biden is in no shape.
And that's fine.
Remember that. Biden's in no shape.
9 out of 10 of the largest cities in this country are run by Democrats who are appointing their leaders, who are making decisions, and yet the media still wants to try to blame you for their failures. How is that possible? How did they get away with it? And what would your message be to those people who live in those cities, who have been ruled by Democrats in some cases for over 100 years, who are trying to throw the blame elsewhere?
So the cities that are having trouble are Democratic-run cities, meaning Democrats.
Yes.
And you know, the word is the Democrat Party. It doesn't
there he
sound
did
as
it.
pretty, but that's
See what I was saying earlier? If he calls them Democrats, then he has to correct himself and then explain it. He does every single time. Here he is. Significance of this interview, I think Don Jr. wanted to spend time with his dad. And if you've heard stories about the Trumps as their kids, as they were kids, Donald didn't spend any time with them. Dad would see him in the morning, say, don't do drugs. See him at night, say, don't do drugs.
Run cities, meaning Democrats.
Yes.
And you know, the word is the Democrat Party. It doesn't sound as pretty, but that's
called them Democrats, then says, oh, the word is Democrat Party. It doesn't sound as pretty.
Democrat-run cities are the ones that are having the trouble. It's a very simple thing. You look at Seattle, you look at when you go to Minnesota and you take...
So, 2 different sides here. I'm going to do my hands way back here so they don't catch fire. Best economy we've ever had, 9 of the top 10 cities run by Democrats. Best economy we've ever... It's not. Best economy we've ever had, 9 of top 10 cities run by Democrats. Where's the wealth generated? In the cities.
Look at what's taken place there. It's incredible. They tried to take over a great city, Minneapolis. And they have taken it. They took it over until I said you have to bring in the National Guard. When the National Guard went in, it was like so beautiful. One evening, all of a sudden, you saw them lining up, and it was all over. So,
Democrat destruction.
it's a very sad thing, but I happen to think it's explaining to people that are getting ready to vote on November 3rd that there's only one answer, and you cannot go back to the bedlam that would, because you would have this whole country,
The bedlam is right now, and you're the president.
I don't believe would ever recover from it. You'll have a situation like Seattle times 1,000. The
3,000 blocks? 3,000 soccer pitches?
country would never, it will never survive it.
Well, it sort of feels like this election really is, it's the last hurrah of the swamp, of the establishment. How do you combat that? How do you get people to understand that message? Because when I look at your accomplishments, they're incredible. You've delivered for a...
You made Mexico pay for the wall. You got us better health care.
America, for the first time in modern political history, done the things you said you were going to do.
Hey, Chris.
At the same time, what people I don't think give you credit for is that you did that under unprecedented circumstances, under unprecedented resistance. You had nonsense impeachments. You had 3 years of Russia hoaxes. You had...
Obama had to deal with Mitch McConnell and the party of no. So don't tell me about unprecedented resistance. Remember, there was a Supreme Court vacancy for an entire year under Obama.
Everything working against you, and you were still able to do it. Do you think that this election sets a different tone that would actually maybe get, I don't know, say the Democrats to actually work with you on things?
So I think if we win, the answer is yes, but I think regardless, we're going to have a tremendously successful country. I think that our country is going to be stronger than ever before. I think that next year is going to be a tremendous success. I feel that if the Democrats get in, we are literally going to end up in a recession/depression.
Spoiler alert, we're in a recession right now.
The likes of which you've never seen. There will be tremendous negative growth. There will be tremendous bedlam all over the place. There won't be law and order.
Reminder, before the virus, he shrunk the growth to 2.1%.
You'll have a Seattle. You'll have a Minneapolis like you've never seen before. The whole country will be Minneapolis. And we saved it by me enforcing and
Do we all get to have a prince?
sending the troops in, the National Guard. I insisted on it. But that was after 4 days. They should have done it on night number 1 instead of having the police run down the street, run away, give up the precinct. Nobody's ever seen a thing like that. So I think that we're going to have a tremendous success. I think by that time the Democrats are just going to say, let's work with the president.
Well, it's interesting. So if we're talking about Democrats,
Democrats have put in over 440 bills to the Senate. It's the Senate. 85% of those bills are just sitting in the Senate. It's 100% that Mitch.
what you say to the Bernie Sanders supporter, the guy that feels that Bernie got gypped in his race? I mean, would you have an outreach to them to bring them over to our side? Because it seems like on certain things, whether it be trade, that there's actually some similarity in those policies.
So last time I got a lot of Bernie Sanders voters, as you know, a very good percentage. People were shocked, mostly because of trade, because one thing Bernie was right on was trade. He said that everybody in this country is being hurt badly by our trade deals. They're so bad. And I got a lot of support from Bernie Sanders. I think I'm going to have it again this time. If you look at what's happened, and they talk about the popular vote.
I do.
It would be much easier for me. I'd campaign a whole different way. But they talk Jill Stein. Hillary lost some votes to Jill Stein, let's assume. But I lost far more votes to Gary Johnson running on the Libertarian Party.
Did
He
you?
got 4 or 5%.
No.
Had I gotten those votes, I win the popular vote.
No.
But I never went for the popular vote. I only went for the Electoral College. We have tremendous support in this country for what we're doing.
2.1%.
And it'll go on, and it'll be more and more successful. I'm telling you, next year, will be one of the most successful years in the history of our country.
4 or 5%, 2.1%. Ironically, let's try that again. I'll lean back. Ironically, also the same growth of GDP. He thought GDP was going to go to 6% and higher, and he ended up at 2.1%.
I think it's great, and I agree.
Spoiler alert, that's not irony.
Because those policies have worked. So, to finish up, two last questions.
Yay, human.
I've heard from some of our mutual friends that you don't love my beard, but
yeah, you're late, Chris. We already talked about Fredo's mic. He doesn't have one.
given the quarantine, I'd like to know, between myself, Ted Cruz, and Rand Paul, who have all grown sort of quarantine beards, who's his best and why?
Well, I don't like it on you,
It's nice that he gets to play softball with his dad on Father's Day.
as I've told you. And I think that's fine if you want to do it. I'm a libertarian in that way. You can do whatever you want. But I don't like it on you. I think that Rand and Ted look better without it. Both friends of mine. They're both doing a fantastic job, and they're both defending me all over the place.
He doesn't like
Good-looking
beards.
guys. I think they both look better personally without it. But I
Turns out he doesn't like mustaches now either.
also think that they should do what they want to do, and that's what they'll do. And in some cases, I think it's good, but in your cases, get rid of it. Okay.
Don't worry, guys.
cute.
I'm going to get the follow-up call on this one later on. But so, last question. Before you leave off,
They cut out his crying again.
will you let us know if there's aliens? Because this is the only thing I really want to know. I want to know what's going on.
That's
You
a
ever
good
open
question.
Up Roswell and let us know what's really going on there.
So many people ask me that question.
I know it sounds almost ridiculous,
No,
but it's
doesn't.
actually the real question
It
I
sounds
want
like
to know.
a cute question, but it's actually, there are millions and millions of people that want to go there, that want to see it. I won't talk to you about.
Why is it the trolls never have pictures? Democrats switch to Republican. Do you need some assistance putting a picture on your profile? See how everybody else has a picture here? Hold on, see if I can do that. I think I can get in there. Yeah, here, see? Look, hold on. Look at all these pictures. See, there's a picture. Shannon, hi Shannon. Stephanie has one. Chris has one. See, they all have pictures. Lizzie, she's got a special little guy right there. If you need some assistance, Democrat, I know it's complicated, but if you need some help, let us know. We're here to help, and we're smarter than you are.
Ability.
I'll have to think about that one, right? I'll have to think.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, I found myself to be the subject of a pretty big meme that went around because I asked and made a joke on a radio show about you possibly pardoning the Tiger King. Have you familiarized yourself with the situation, and is there a possibility for a pardon?
Well, based on my relationship with you, I have. He is quite a character.
He certainly
He
is.
is quite a character, but you wouldn't want me to say that. But that's a whole strange deal going on, I'll tell you. That's a strange guy and a lot of strange people surrounding him. And it was interesting. I got to see a couple of those episodes. It's interesting.
Yeah, it was funny because I was watching, obviously sort of binged watch it because of the quarantine. And then when they asked you that thing and you're just on there at the press briefing at the COVID thing, and of course, you know, they don't ask you real questions, they ask you the nonsense. But it was pretty funny when it was, that sounds like Don.
It must be Don. I had a feeling it was Don. Is that what he said?
Had to be done. And I was like, yeah, I think he understands me well.
I think I do understand you well.
You
You're
do.
doing a great job.
Thank you, Dad. And you are too. Thank you for doing this. And I really hope you have a great Father's Day as well.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah?
Good. Okay.
Did they even talk about the pandemic?
Okay.
I mean, that's what's happening right now. Did I miss all of that?
You could stay behind and just ask a couple of the questions without me here if you wanted to, just, I see that's something a lot of the big anchors do. They'll say, thank you very much, and then they'll sit in the chair and they'll re-ask a couple of questions, but I think you did a good job.
Hey, good to see you.
Fake fireplace. How touching is that, though? The little tap at the end.
Big anchors do. They'll say, thank you very much, and then they'll sit in the chair and they'll re-ask a couple of questions, but I think you did a good job.
Serious, Chris.
Hey, good to see you.
As Trump is turned and walking away, there's Don John going for validation. Hey, good to see you. Hey, I'm making contact, Dad. I'm making contact. Still won't hug him. Yeah, they've got a decent graphics package. So I wanted to share this with you because this whole daddy duty, this father-daughter relationship reminded me of something that happened with Kevin Lee Daughter today. And I know you guys are really only here for the Kevin Lee Daughter news. So this morning, as it turned out, I was trending on Twitter. The topic, let's see, I saw this. You hired him was trending. And I was like, wait a minute. I said that yesterday. I wonder if my tweet is trending. And sure enough, right at the top of the you hired him trending was me with, well, you hired him, genius, with a picture of Trump and there's the mustache. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I've been in, I don't know, moments or something on Twitter, but I've never been featured on Twitter or whatever, trending on Twitter. So knowing that Kevin Lee Daughter knows what Twitter is like, I sent a message to Kevin Lee Daughter saying, hey, guess what? I've been featured on Twitter, and I'll show you what she said. So she said, congrats, dude. That's almost as cool as being employed. So she keeps me grounded. Ah! Shout out to Kevin Lee Daughter. Yeah. We're going to go play some tennis with Kevin Lee's son. Thank you, everyone. Trump did something else today, talked to a couple of governors. Oh, that's right. He talked to the governor whose name is a disease, Peter Ricketts, and he talked to the governor of Oklahoma who's seeing a spike. Let's check out Oklahoma today before we leave. I want to do that because, of course, Trump's going to be there on Saturday for the Corona Bowl. Let's see, Oklahoma. Give me just a second over here, guys, and I'm going to pull up Oklahoma. There it is. Oklahoma right here. Yeah, Oklahoma just keeps growing. Look at that spike right there. So hopefully that'll slow down, but as Rachel Maddow pointed out today, 7% growth in the country week over week. The United States is on the wrong path. The United States is on the wrong trajectory. Here it is right here. I was just looking at it. Don't even have to pull that up. Here it is. This is us. Look at this. That's the wrong way for active cases to go. That would be worse if this graph actually included not solved cases, recovered cases. Sorry about the lighting here, guys. They won't let me go to my studio right now. Plus, I don't have a studio. So this, without the recovered cases, actual cases would be growing exponentially. Total cases, this is linear, so you can't really look at it. But yeah, we're on the way going up. So be safe, guys. Wear your mask. If you have an N95 mask, wear that. If you don't have a KN95 mask from China, order one from China. Go to DHgate or Alibaba. Order yourself some KN masks. I'm starting to see them in different stores, especially some of the corner stores, the convenience stores. Get yourself an N95 mask. Protect yourself. The surgical masks, the scarves, stuff like that, they protect other people. Very good. Wear those at the very minimum. But otherwise, just be safe out there. It's on the way up. I think in Washington it's starting to spike as well. California, where I lived until like 10 minutes ago, it's on the rise. 23 states are on the rise right now, and some of them are spiking. Texas, Florida is in bad shape. North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm saying be careful. And if you're really caring, you'll go to kevinleefather.com and become a patron like many of these fine people here. I'm going to go play some golf with Kevin Lee's son. We're going to save that thing that Trump did earlier with the governors, Pete Ricketts, and the guy from Oklahoma whose name escapes me at the moment. Kevin. His name is Kevin. We're going to do that. I'm going to save that, maybe do it on the weekend or something like that, because it was just Trumpaganda. There wasn't anything really remarkable about it. It was just another Dear Leader meeting. It really was a Dear Leader roundtable where they went around and everybody who was a small business owner or worked for Trump just praised Trump. Okay, so guys, it's a penis print. I go to check the chat and I see Lizzie saying it's a penis print. Well, that's typical. When is Lizzie not talking about penis prints? Lizzie, you have a penis mask? My God, send that to me. Send me a dick pic, said Kevin Lee Father. All right, guys, I'm going to go do the tennis thing with Kevin Lee's son and Kevin Lee Daughter. You guys take care of yourself. We will see you next time. Here's some closing credits, and if you'd like to get on the closing credits, then become a patron by going to kevinleefather.com. Take care, everybody.